I am the Commissar, that's my name. Forged alliance forever, that's the game. Who have we got with a claim to fame? Today, 10 players are duking it out with the best of the West versus the beast from the East. Let's start with the Western team. Up here at the top, this is Balfron. He is 1400 rated, he is UEF, and he is in baby pink. To his south, we've seen him quite a lot recently, and I'm sure we will again. This is Zardos. Maybe there's something about Sean Connery in a red mankini that just can't keep the casters away. I've seen him 2 or 3 times, including last cast. Guile has seen him recently. He's just churning out good games. He's 1100 rated. He is Eon, and he is in dark green. At the back, in the air position, this is Stups, who is 1800 rated, the highest rated player in today's game. He is UEF, and he is dark blue. Continuing to the south, this is Boilerplate, 1500 rated, and Cybran, he is in baby blue. And last but by no means least, in another quite common star on this channel, we have SPCR, 1400 rated, he's Eon in red. And now for the Eastern team. We'll start in the south with Cheerios, who is 1500 rated. He's Cybran and he's in burgundy. I like Cheerios, they're my favourite cereal. So this gentleman obviously exhibits good taste. Up here, in front of him, and another player we saw recently, this is Phong. Phong is 1500 rated, he's Eon and he's in white. In the air position at the back, this is Ferfer, our first and only Seraphim of the day. He is 1600 rated in yellow. Already well on his way forward, this is Pepes. Pepes is 1300 rated, he is UEF, and he is in brown. And also heading forward, last but not least, this is Cyrilto. He's 1400 rated, he's UEF, and he is in Mountain Dew green. So we have 2 UEF on each team, we have a Cybran on each team, but where the Western team has 2 Eon, the Eastern team has 1 Eon and a Seraphim. Quick look at the map, that's 15k I think. Not much reclaim anywhere, a few dots here and there, enough to just get started, but the main fights are going to be about these expansions. We have a pair of expansions here, pair of expansions here, and symmetrically down in the south. So they're quite far forward, but each team is going to have 4 that they're going to grab quite quickly. Lab play. 2 labs and a scout out from Zardos, 2 labs and a scout out from Phong, 2 labs and a scout out from SPCR. No early bombers. I've often seen bombers at this stage recently, but none of these 10 players have chosen to do so today. So I'm trying to keep an eye on these 3 labs, or lab groups. And we have a slightly later set of labs coming out from Pepes. These labs, unfortunately from Phong, are just walking into Boilerplate's tanks. They try to back up, whereas these labs from SPCR are definitely finding work. That Mantis is going to pick one up, but the other lab takes it out. The labs from Zardos have been taken out by ferfer's comm, but there's still 1 lab from SPCR here, and that's getting work done. Phong, meanwhile, is sending 1 lab to defend here. What he doesn't know is that Balfron has already, super early, started a T2 land upgrade, so there's no tanks to defend here. This lab could run in, kill a few engineers, kill a few mexes, do immense amounts of damage. Over here, Zardos, just like Donald Trump, is unsuccessfully trying to build a wall because a lab has come to shoot it. So, first pick up for Pepes there, and he might get this one over here as well, which would be quite nice. This lab's still doing work for SPCR and forcing these tanks to fall back a bit. Phong has sent out another attempt, but it's just walking straight into Zardos comm. So a second engineer here picked up for Pepes, which is very good. Balfron forced into a second factory to build tanks to defend. Upgrades. We have T2 here for boilerplate, and T2 here for Cyril. Nobody else has started on an upgrade just yet. And a mech's taken out by this mech marine, so looks like we also had something picked up over here. Sorry about that. By this mech marine. So very good work from Pepes Labs. But our first actual tank attack has come in from boilerplate. He's got 4 mantis there, and those should easily clean up those labs from Phong, especially as he's got more coming in. 2 mechs is already killed, probably more to follow. SPCR starts the gun speed version. Phong starts the gun range version, though I'm sure they'll follow them with the other, and Balfron has started his gun upgrade as well. Another sneaky lab push from Phong, trying to get in the back. But look at this, 4 mechs is down to these tanks from boilerplate, which is definitely going to hurt the eco of the eastern team. Phong pauses. Is he having power? He is. Phong is having power problems. And he hasn't even got the first upgrade down to defend from this sneaky advance from boilerplate, who has stopped here and gets the speed upgrade. Let's hope Phong is able to unpause before before boilerplate finishes his upgrade. Having completed T2, Cyril is going for the gun upgrade as well, but he pauses immediately, and he too was having power problems. Ooh, look at that, he turns it on and it just goes straight deep into the red. He's got the T2, so that's burning it several times faster. He's assisting it with engineers. I'm not surprised he's stalled, but boilerplate is also stalled. My word, what's up with everyone today? My dudes, build your power. But it looks like he's going to get it in the end. Phong finishes the first gun upgrade and moves on to the other half of it. SPCR has Bolton is advancing on Cheerios, who is in the middle of his gun upgrade. Perhaps SPCR will be able to force a cancer because he's got more spam than Cheerios and he's got a gun com. Cyril finishes and pushes in on Balfron, and my dudes, it's time to stop and go to split screen because we have a lot of things here to watch at once. Okay, so in the north, Cyril is starting triads and letting the engines finish them while he pushes forward with his comm. Balfron is trying to get nano, but he may be forced to cancel by this. Here in the middle, Pepes with the gun and spam is pushing in on Zardos, who's only just started an upgrade, and that may force Zardos to cancel and fall back. Down here in the south, SPCR is moving in on Cheerios, and Cheerios has been forced to fall back. Stups finishing a tactical missile, I know from the chat, so we'll have to see what he does with that, but at the moment we're more interested in Zardos being forced back. And Balfron, my dude, you're going to be able to finish that. This looks pretty bad. Cyril starts a second triad while this one lays damage down on Balfron. He finishes the nano, but he's down into the red, and he just runs straight away. He's probably going to sacrifice all this spam in order to make his escape, and Cyril pushes forward. Zardos has just fallen back here, and I don't think there's anything he can do to recover this base from Pepes and Ferfer. Down here though, Cheerios falling back a long way, SPCR just coming forward, eating up the reclaim and sending spam round here. Boilerplate and SPC and Stups, sorry, pushing in here. Phong has walked forward with his gun comm, but there's 2 comms here, one of them with a gun, some spam, and one of them with T2. So this may be an overextension from Phong. Cyril sneaks forward, quickly fills up a T1 point defense, and these factories from Balfron may not last long. Balfron's still quite injured, not feeling strong enough to take on Cyril yet, and tanks from Cyril have run around here and taken out a mechs from Balfron. They may take out another, and Balfron's been forced to send dudes back to defend. Phong does have T2 on the field. He's defending with shields, and he's got blazes coming up. but Stups is using his T2 to put down a triad, and that may make the difference in this fight between Phong, who's already a bit more damaged than boilerplate. SPCR is setting up in Cheerios' old expansion, and he's got a lot of spam coming in there. Balfron clears up the flank from Cyrilto, but Cyrilto is still just setting up here. He's even working on a tactical missile launcher there, which I think is quite early to do so, given the position, especially as Balfron's nano is regenerating him. Another triad up from Stups. Boilerplate is falling back a bit, and Phong has also retreated in the face of that triad fire. Phong advances again. That feels bold given those triads. Cheerios and Stups are engaging here in the south with fire back and forth. Cheerios does have more spam though, but Phong is where all eyes are at. He's walked into the triad fire and he realizes his mistake. The triads push him down into the red and Boilerplate takes advantage of it. Boilerplate charges in. Boom! The Boilerplate is taken into the red. Phong has been defeated. Meanwhile, Stups fires his tactical missiles and takes out some mexes back here. Let's put that mini-map back to normal so we can see what's going on, while Cheerios and SPCR batter it out, as do Balfron and Cyrilto. Balfron and Cyrilto looking pretty evenly matched here, actually. But what was this? Cheerios, did you just kill yourself? SPCR is certain of it. Bruh, he says. Why did Cyrilto do that? Was he just not feeling up to it? Was it just to deny the reclaim? More tactical missiles coming out from SPCR, who is definitely getting damage done. And I think it might be time to go back to single screen. Looks like SPCR agrees to me, saying, bruh, had to ruin all my reclaim. Zardos is getting the gun upgraded with the Eon extension, hoping to push back against Pepes. He's got a lot of Oblivions here, with which he should be able to force Pepes back, despite Pepes' wall of spam, since this is all T1. Locked in their eternal struggle, Cyrilto and Balfron continue, but ferfer has T3 air, and Stups does not. Nor does he even go for it. He's building up some Janus. And sure, Janus is nice for a quick snipe shenanigan. Meanwhile, more mechs is being taken out by that TML from Stups, who's already killed 6,000 mass. Taking advantage of his air lead, a strat comes out from ferfer. And there's just nothing to stop it. Air is being locked by these ASFs and inties from ferfer, and that strat could just come around and wreak havoc on Stups' base. He's going to have nothing he can do. Still locked in their endless struggle up here, Cyrilto and Balfron. SPCR with blazes smashing his way into Cheerios' old base. Pretty tough firebase being set up here by the boys in blue. That strat has killed quite a decent amount with that bomb, as well as... ooh, look at that, that's painful. Zardos is now pushing in, but Pepes is setting up his own firebase with a shield to which to retreat, and Pepes, they both have the same firepower when they're in range of each other, and these Oblivions are helping Zardos, but Pepes has got his shield to fall back to. That strat doing sterling work. We'll check back on it in a moment, but Zardos is... that feels a bit far. Where's he going to retreat to? I don't like this from Zardos. There's spam, there's triads going up under the shield from Pepes, and Zardos is walking towards them. Zardos, my friend, what are you doing? He's into the red. He's under triple triad fire. He's under com fire. Zardos! He explodes at 14 minutes. Meanwhile, that strat is into the red, but it's done 7,000 massacre. That's pretty nice. And SPCR, meanwhile, under gunship fire, and because Stups is being locked down, there's just nowhere to defend him. Ferfer pushes in with spam here, but those two comms and that fire mission should clear it up. It's this attack on SPCR that we should be worried about. He's throwing up AA, but it's being killed by those gunships just as fast as he can build it. Balfron and Cyril have at last pulled back a bit from each other, deciding that it's not so much a contact sport. And he has these turrets that he's carefully put back further back before back to while bringing mobile AA forward. Good play to save himself from the gunships from SPCR. I think he'll be safe. Another strat out from ferfer after the success of the first one, and I do not blame him one bit. So he lost these factories, but he's still got T2. He's still got Janus queued up. I think that we really need to see some more TP air focus under a shield for the Western team, because ferfer is just throwing out strats and there's nothing to stop them. This one is taking out SPCR's eco. Phong says strat needs air cover. I say from what? Oh, a couple of Janus, I guess. And Janus, they are fighter bombers, not just bombers. But ferfer has got the air cover he can send in with it. And this strat is also getting work done. 2,000 mass killed. This one hasn't yet paid for itself though. SPCR is absolutely consuming Cheerios' old base. And he's got help with these rhinos coming in from boilerplate. However, ferfer, with all these bases he's inherited, has T3 on the field and he's got Harbies coming forward. Harbies should be able to stop this if he has enough of them in combination with his air. He's got 3 Harbies there. Have we got T3 from anyone else? We're up to 2,300 mass killed on this strat. T3 on the way for SPCR, but that strat may put a stop to it. T3 on the way for boilerplate. And what was this? Balfron takes Cyril out with what? I didn't even see. But in revenge, the strats from ferfer are focusing Balfron's comm. The spam around it just dies in the blast. Balfron, despite his nano, might be under threat here because there's only T1 fighters to stop it. And the bombers are absolutely raining it down on Balfron. This one will take him into the red, and one more hit will kill him. Actually, his nano has brought him up so that 2 more hits will kill him, but they're going to get 2 more hits. The bombs fall. And where it was 4v2, thanks to Balfron's kill, boom, it's now 3v2. Which brings matters somewhat back into line. Meanwhile, this firebase from Pepes is pummeling the base that Stups inherited from Zardos with artillery. Ferfer has a decent amount of Harbies now, but look how much he's lost. Pepes defending with his comm, ferfer with T3 to help, but this is a big push and Pepes may be at risk. The Harbies, I think, will save him though, in combination with Pepes' gun and his heaps of veterancy, which is more than boilerplate has. And that's many more Harbs coming in for ferfer. So the tech advantage definitely with the Eastern team, both in the air and on the land, but the map control advantage definitely with the Western team. T3 tech also out from Pepes, who is sending Titans in to raid the northern base. Although now we do have Harbies in the northern base coming up from SPCR, who's building them in Zardos base. So we're definitely into the Tech 3 stage now, except though... Okay, he just built a Genius again, but he is at T3 air now, so we do have T3 in both air and land from both teams. Although it may take a while for SPCR and Stups to be able to make progress with it, especially for SPCR, who has a big fight of restorers overhead. He's got a lot of flak with his comm, and that may be enough in combination with the shields to shoo away the restorers. Yes, it is. Ferfer sees it and flies away to get eco damage. SPCR is, however, unhappy and doesn't think he has enough. However, he's okay for now, at least comm-wise. And the fact that he has everywhere is working on the restorers, and he's frenziedly building more. But there's nothing to stop the restorers just flying back into his base. Yet more flak, of course, is being churned out. And he doesn't really have a choice. Harbies push in on boilerplate, but this emplacement has Tech 2 tanks, it has Tech 2 turrets, there's Tech 1 turrets, it has shields, and those Harbies will be driven away. Mobile missile launchers in the middle from Pepes to bombard Zardos base. It's got some TMD and it's got some shields in it. But I think work will be done by these missile launchers. Harbies from ferfer have just pushed around this emplacement, and they're getting into boilerplate's eco and might get into Stups' eco. However, Stups has a lot of production here, and he's getting a couple of Harbies and shields out to defend. He might be able to produce enough from all those factories to stop that. And we have bricks out. Bricks beat Harbies, but not before 3 mexes have been taken out by those Harbies from this expansion. So speaking of mexes being taken out, let's have a look at the eco. The eastern team is nearly 100 ahead. And it's being put to good use. Mongeese. Heaps and heaps of mongeese in from Pepes, and they're carving apart the eco up here, but there's a lot of Titans out to face them. And Stups is reacting. He's sending Titans out to take on the mongeese. Tell me in the comments below, my loyal viewers, mongeese? Mongooses? What's your favourite plural? I think technically it's mongooses, but I prefer mongeese. Big push in from Stups through here, but look at these Titans. How many Titans is that? That is 29 Titans, 3,800-ish DPS. That is able to just push this back. And sure, it's got some Harbies in there, but there's also T1 in there. I think that, especially with these Perseus he's producing, Pepes has the numbers to push it back. His mongeese have been cleaned up by the Titans from Stups, but they've got a lot of eco damage done, and there's still a couple sneaking away some shots here. These 2 units north can kill a lot of mexes. I'm assuming he's referring to those. Yes, he is. But none of those Titans catch them. 4 Titans versus 2 mongeese. Versus 2 mongeese. My money's on the Titans. SPCR, feeling emboldened again with a lot of flak in his force, is pushing forward. And the restorers... Speaking of restorers, I didn't look at this, but holy cow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mexes killed by the restorers that snuck round the back. So that was excellent work, and that probably explains the huge eco lead that the eastern team have. Potential here for some retribution in the form of a land push from SPCR. The restorers prepare to attack in the middle, with Harbies on the ground. Combined push, but there are SAMs here, and there are also bouncers on the ground. So that's a lot of T3AA and T2AA in here, so those restorers decide not to push in. Pepes is bringing his T3 forward and maybe considering another raid. ferfer just sort of sauntering around at the back here? Did he come here to reclaim those things? There's 1,000 reclaim there, so maybe, I don't know. Pepes with a factory just producing a few engineers. But here's the main title fight right now. T1 RT versus a few hobbies versus a lot of hobbies, but SPCR's commas in there may make the difference. Dear me, that gave me a frog in my throat. The restorers come in and they try to snipe SPCR. There's a lot of flak though, and it takes the restorers apart. SPCR is driven down into the red. If the Harbies focus him, he may be out. The Harbies attack, but SPCR gets a crucial vet, and he's back up and safe if he runs away. But he needs more flak, because suddenly there are 5 restorers, and SPCR... Is he going down? Are the restorers just going to take him out? I think they might, you know. I see on the mini-map ASF's coming in to help out, and SPCR is tough, but he is not that tough, and there is air defense from ferfer to keep the restorers firing, and SPCR goes out. So we are down to 2v2. Phong saying spam some factories for the reclaim, and he's not wrong. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,000 reclaim in this area, and these NGs are already coming in from both ferfer and Pepes to take it out, while the restorers remain where they are, trying to hold back the remainder. Stealth on the way for boilerplate, who's feeling like he's going to go aggressive with his comm again. And he is pushing in, but so is Pepes in the north. There are Percys here to fight the Titans, but that's a lot of Titans. 32 Titans and 2 Percys, 5,000 DPS, 80,000 hit points. That's like a couple of monkeys worth of firepower. Whereas, combined with the restorers and the T2 point defences, Boiler's force, which has an immense amount of anti-air in there because of the restorers, means it doesn't actually have much anti-ground firepower, and it retreats. So, lots of work being done by Pepes here, but he's focusing on the units more than he is on the eco, and that's sure it's going to kill a lot of units, but I feel like there may just be enough, thanks to the production for I keep calling him SPCR, for Stups to defend, and with this broadsword, and there's no anti-air in here, it may be enough, but more raids just going to come and take out the eco here, so definitely good play from Pepes. That said, the ecos are now nearly level, so Stups has been doing good work building up his eco. And total eco, the Eastern team are only 20,000 mass ahead, which when you're this far into the game, with hundreds of thousands mass collected each, isn't a great deal. Pepes is getting massive damage done in the north though, because there's nothing to stop these raids. And he may be about to be stopped, but he's already done the damage he needs. First experimental of the game is a Galactic Colossus out from ferfer, stomping forward there, and we see he immediately starts another one, queues up yet more in the background. Quickly followed by Pepes. Where's he put that at? That's a fat boy, so all the XP's in the east so far. Now, this could be a bit of a risk for our blue boys, since both the comms from the western team are here, forward, and there's a GC just being built. And they both recognise the danger, and they retreat. This could be a problem for them if they've been scouted, which they haven't. The GC can kill this, probably, damn right it can. If the Eastern team knew those were the comms, he would just chase them down, or maybe even restore them, because there's nothing to protect. Okay, there's one bouncer right now, but I think that the amount of air power ferfer has could take those boys out. both of them. Ferfer feels like he's at risk of a flanking attack out here. Pepes still has a couple of Percys and Titans scattered around, and look how much damage he's done. But is it really making that much of a difference? Sure, they're back to being maybe 50 ahead, but it doesn't feel like much in the grand scheme of things right now. However, this push might make a difference, because that's actually a decent amount of things. And sure, there's some land up here, but it's got to come down and catch it. And what has Stups got with which he can stop it? We're half an hour into the game, and traditionally I ask you, my loyal viewers, who's going to win? We have a 50 mass lead for the Eastern team. We have map control in favour of the Eastern team. We have an awful lot of tanks and bots pushing into the reasonably undefended airbase. And sure, we have some guys massing here, but there are experimentals pushing in from the Eastern team. Who do you think's going to win? Tell me in the comments below. And as always, you are the only ones who can know if you cheated and skipped ahead to the end. You will know. Don't do it. Don't lie to me. GC's out from Ferfer. There are now 2 of them, and a third started. But this one, where's it going? Okay, this one's going to go and defend the flank, but this, that could be dangerous. I think there's enough Harpies in there that Ferfer's naked comm could be killed if he's caught unawares. This lot, the Colossus should be able to deal with it. But that said, some of it's going to be faster than the Colossus, so... Oh, there are also Harpies being called back. Pepes has chosen not to push, he's chosen to wait. I think he may have missed his opportunity there. He's also pushing in again in the north, and Stups is sending his chaps to defend against this. But how's he going to defend against this? Pepes, my dude, there's so much work you could get done in there, and now okay, there's a few bricks massing against him. This should be enough to take that, though. Restorers on their way here. These boys have taken out the mexes of Ferfer here and have forced him to run away. He's redirected the GC to take these out, but the GC is slower than these units, and so he's going to have to rely on the Harpies and anything he can produce here in his rear air grid. Just actually that big, but it's bigger than Stups. And the first experimental unit for the Western team has been constructed. What is it and where is it? It's a GC somewhere. So these tanks get into the air grid and they try and take it out. It looks like it's going to go down. Oh, look at this, look at this. Quick reclaim so the explosion doesn't occur, and the explosion does not destroy the air grid, and these other tanks are in time to clear it up. Excellent play from Ferfer there. GC backed up by anti-air. I think there's enough there to take that GC. And this one has just not really got anything done here, and is being forced to come back. So Pepes was waiting for his fatty to come in here, which they've seen. And what's this? Have we had some drops? These engineers are reclaiming all the anti-air, which has nothing to shoot them back, and these engineers are reclaiming and have now switched to building point defense in these bases, because these are only producing flak. Oh, that's brilliant. I love that. And they haven't been noticed. They're just eating... Oh, now they've been noticed, but they were just eating up flak and eating up anti-air turrets. Look how much these are reclaimed. 640 mass, 400 and... That's brilliant. I love that. Are these boys going to get their turrets up? So the fat boy has come in range here. And it looks like we might have a combined push. 2 Galactic Colossus, include and third sneaking around the side. 1 fat boy. Decent amount of stuff from Pepes. Lots of nice reclaim going down there. And as for the eco lead, Eastern team are 100 ahead. This feels painful for poor old Stups and Boiler. Both the PDs have gone up and they will just pick away at these factories, and the engineers continue to make more. I love that. And also, oh, this one's been caught though. This one has been caught and stopped. They're both right. Good time for mid GCs. Good, nothing to stop Fat Boy. This is horrific. Spot for nukes, says SPCR. He looks like he's right. That's a nuke in the queue. Good awareness there from SPCR. Here's that GC from Stups, or a GC from Stups. There's another one up here. Coming forward. That seems like a bit of overkill in response to 2 engineers, but you know, whatever gets the job done. So, we've got a big fight here. 2 GCs versus 1 GC and an awful lot of bricks. My money's actually on the... Ha! We're actually now cold team and hot team. That makes things easier, doesn't it? My money is now on the Western team. The 2 GCs engage the 1 GC, but there's so much brick fire that both of these GCs are going to die, and I think this one might even survive. Boom. Down goes 1 GC. They turn, and during that time the bricks are still firing. Boom. Down goes the other GC, and suddenly things are looking a bit nicer for the Western team here, but they're not looking so nice here, where the air grid is under fire from the fatty with one side, and boilerplate's comm, though he does have stealth, they cannot see the comm, so boilerplate's comm was under fire, but they couldn't see it, so he's safe. This one needs to push. There's nothing to stop it. Oh, Phong agrees with me. Nice. Another GC heading down here. This could probably push in and take out Pepes middle base. There's a decent number of Titans and Percys, but there's also a decent number of Harpies and... Oh, sorry, they're Percys. And Harpies and Percys here. And a GC, and I think the GC swings this one despite the point defense. Stups air grid under very heavy bombardment, and what's he got that... Well, now we know that what he's got that can stop it. A Zar comes out, and how are we actually looking on the air? Ferfer, 108 ASFs. Only 89 for Stups, but I think that over... I was going to say over Stups base, but there's so much flak here that Zar is taking lots of damage that it hasn't got an answer to, and it focuses the Fat Boy down. Boom. And it continues to tear its way through the Percys, but its shield is down, it's on half health. So the air fight has been won, despite being over Stups' flak. It's been won by Ferfer, and he dives the Zar, but he hasn't got enough left, and the Zar survives with 12,000 hit points. There's still some flak under it, and the Zar is down into the red, but they've taken out the air HQ for Stups, so Stups isn't getting any more ASFs up, and the flak chases the Zar, which only now has 7,000 hit points remaining. more defensive GCs out, but that isn't going to stop this, which is 2 GCs and a huge force of bricks heading north and east from the western team. Is that a Continental drop? I love me some Continental drops. But it runs into a bunch of Sams and is just taken out. More like Incontinental, am I right? That was comedy gold. Where is your laughter? The Tsar has got its shield back up and moved back, and obviously he was quite happy with that, since Stups is going for another Tsar. I guess that's also his only method of producing T3 air until he rebuilds his HQ. Pepes looks like he's having trouble against this push. And he's defending by building shields and ravagers with his commander. Feels like an act of desperation, not of strength. He's got a fatty which is nearly done. Maybe that will be in time in combination with the ravagers to save the day. But look at the eco. We're now 300 eco ahead for the eastern team after this devastating amount of damage. The GC is in the base of boilerplate, and it's remarkably close to the 2 comms, but the second Tsar, the pair of Tsars, takes it out and moves on to the advancing force of Harbies. I think they'll be able to clear it up. These 2 comms standing close together is pretty bold, especially when the enemy team has a nuke. And I don't think there's any nuke defense here. They could win it with 1 nuke right here. The fatty is finished, and the GCs have split up. This one is just going to die to the combined Ravager and Fatty Fire, and this one has decided to run away and try and get damage done somewhere else. But there's more Ravagers up here. It's Ravagers everywhere. Avoid, says SPCR to his friends, and he's right. These bricks run away, but the Ravagers over here have also taken out this GC, leaving 2 GCs worth of reclaim for this team to gather, and a defensive pair of GCs from Ferfer heads in that direction to block it. And things once again look pretty terrible for the western team. Third Tsar on the way. These Tsars look like they're going to advance, maybe take out some eco here. 2 of them might be able to handle that many ASFs. Have we seen a rebuild of the HQ here? I'm going to assume that's going to be kept up to the HQ, because that seems to make some sense. So, Ravagers just everywhere for Pepes. I mean, on the one hand he can afford it, but on the other hand that feels like a bit of a waste of eco. And we're in a little bit of a lull. Look at how much reclaim has been left here. There's hundreds of thousands on this map. Okay, at least 800,000, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Yeah, there's 100,000 reclaim on the map, and most of it is here. So that could all be going into the coffers of the eastern team, who are presently 200,000 total mass collected ahead of the west. 2 Tsars holding position, and the third is just completed. 3 Tsars feels like it might be a bit of a challenge, and I did see Pepes putting up some, but there's the nuke, and it is going right for the 2 comms, and they have no SMD. My dudes. Boo, complains Stups. Move your comms, says SPCR. I mean, he's not right. Stups agrees. Stups moves his comm. Is he going to be fast enough? That was quite some slow reaction time with the nuke already coming in close. Boilerplate does, but he's a bit later. Is it going to end the game right here, right now? Kaboom! Goodbye, au revoir, says boilerplate. But I think that we might have had a survivor from Stups. Yes, we have. Stups is still alive, and he in fact barely took damage in that nuke. 3 Zars and a megalith, and a decent army. I mean, that's not a bad force. The Zars making a pretty little triangle there. Ferfer needs to be producing 1 million ASFs. He's got a decent number queued up, of course. I was worried that he might still be producing something like Restorers or Strats, when what he needs is ASFs and more ASFs, and he needs to spam SAM after SAM after SAM. But Ferfer has got almost no SAMs here. He's putting all his eco into the nuke. I mean, they must know. They know about 2 of the Zars at the very least. They know about 3 of the Zars. 3 Zars, says phong. And, you know, he's right. 3 Zars. Ferfer dives the Zars. He doesn't even kill one, and the triple AA of the Zars just takes out the air. And we do have some more ASFs on the field, so he did get that HQ up from Stups. The triple Zar stack flies in. That's a lot of Redeemers. So he doesn't have SAMs, he's desperately trying to get some up, but I don't know how quick that's going to be. And his comms right there. Do you need to flee, Ferfer, my friend? He agrees, he is going to flee. And the first of the Zars is shot down, and smashes down into Ferfer's base, causing a chain reaction, and the chain reaction takes out Ferfer's comm. Suddenly, Pepes versus Stups, 1 versus 1, and there are still 2 Zars heading in on Pepes. Now, Pepes has an awful lot of Ravagers, but where are his SAMs, my dude? Where are your SAMs? He's got 1. He has 1 SAM. And he almost finished the Duke. He finished the Duke. Poor old Pepes. He's got the shield. The second Zar goes down, but it smashes down on Pepes. He's still got half his shield, but that's not enough to save him from the single Zar. Is it? Is it? The single Zar remaining. It dies, but it falls, and in the explosion, Pepes is killed and Stups wins the game. 1 player left standing after all of that, and despite the huge eco lead that the Eastern team had all game, look at that, they were a Mavor and a half ahead in total mass by the end of the game. Despite the map control, despite the air advantage they had until the very end, 3 Zars win it for the Western team. I hope you enjoyed that. Please tell me what you thought in the comments below, and whether you thought that the Western team should have lost, and if so, how the Eastern team should have won. As always, I'm the Commissar. Please remember to like, subscribe, and obey, and I will see you next time.